Daily life in North Korea is shaped by a totalitarian regime, where every action is tightly controlled and monitored under constant surveillance. From the crowded streets of Pyongyang to the rural countryside, the lives of North Koreans are governed by strict government policies and tight restrictions. This video explores the realities of life in one of the world's most closed societies, shedding light on their daily routines and challenges. Without further delay, let's take a look at what a typical day in North Korea looks like. 1. Labor camps. North Korea is known for being one of the most repressive and closed regimes in the world. Human rights violations in the country are frequently reported by international organizations and North Koreans who have fled. In North Korea, even the slightest criticism of the regime can lead to severe consequences. Political prisoners, often along with their families, are sent to forced labor camps. In these camps, prisoners are subjected to extreme physical abuse, starvation, and forced labor. Due to the social order in North Korea, not only the person who commits a crime is punished, but also their entire family, including future generations. It is even reported that some prisoners are born in these camps and never allowed to leave for the rest of their lives. 2. Women. Although women in North Korea officially appear to have equal rights, the reality is very different. There is significant discrimination and oppression against women, both by the state and within society. The state defines women as revolutionary mothers and expects them to prioritize the roles of wife and mother. There is a lack of equal opportunities in education and employment, and women are often relegated to less prestigious and demanding jobs. Women are also subjected to hard labor and mistreatment, particularly those in the working class. In factories, on farms, and even in state-run forced labor camps, women are forced to work under inhumane conditions. According to former prisoners who have escaped, women in these camps are often subjected to physical violence and sexual assault. Due to economic hardship and hunger, some women attempt to flee to China. However, many who cross the border fall into the hands of human traffickers and are forced into prostitution. Many of these women are sold on false promises and forced into marriage. Women who are caught and returned to North Korea face harsh punishments. Additionally, women can be sexually harassed by senior government officials and military personnel. Defectors and former government officials report that female prisoners, especially those from lower social classes, are sexually abused with impunity by the authorities. These incidents are often covered up because the legal system is completely controlled by the state. Furthermore, military service for women in North Korea is compulsory and lasts at least 7 years. Female soldiers in the army must adhere to strict disciplinary rules and are often subjected to horrific incidents, such as sexual harassment. According to testimonies from former soldiers, physical and sexual violence against women is quite common. 3. Hunger and poverty. North Korea has faced major hunger crises repeatedly since the 1990s, and malnutrition and poverty still affect the lives of millions today. The country's closed economic structure, failed agricultural policies, and international sanctions exacerbate the hunger problem. North Korea operates under a socialist economic system and relies on state food distribution. However, after the 1990s, this system largely collapsed, leaving the population to fend for itself. Today, the food provided by the state reaches only a small proportion of the population and is insufficient. According to UN reports, around 40% of the North Korean population is malnourished. The rate of stunted growth among children is over 20%, meaning 1 in 5 children suffer from physical and mental developmental issues due to chronic hunger. Because of hunger, many people are forced to eat wild grasses, insects, and even tree bark. Due to inadequate food provisions from the state, people are compelled to provide their own food by setting up illegal markets. However, since these markets are illegal, the authorities occasionally raid them and confiscate their goods. 4. Propaganda and brainwashing. North Korea has one of the most intensive propaganda and brainwashing systems in the world. The state tightly controls every sphere of life, from media to education, from art to daily routines, in order to shape public opinion and ensure absolute loyalty to the regime. This propaganda mechanism glorifies the Kim dynasty as divine figures, isolating the people from the outside world and forcing them to accept that the regime is the only correct path. The Kim family ensures that the public worships them with almost religious devotion. In schools, workplaces, and public spaces, respect for Kim Jong-un and his family is mandatory. The slightest disrespect towards them can result in severe penalties. Additionally, only state-run media outlets are allowed to operate in North Korea. Television and radio channels broadcast only state-approved programs. Watching, listening to, or reading any media content from the outside world is severely punished. The public in North Korea also has no access to the open internet. Only government officials and some senior academics have internet access. The general public can only access certain state-run websites through the North Korean-controlled internal network called Pyongyang. Those who attempt to connect with the outside world face severe penalties. North Korea's propaganda and brainwashing system is considered one of the most effective and rigid in the world. The state controls every aspect of the population's loyalty to the regime and completely blocks access to the outside world. While this system makes it nearly impossible for most of the population to question the regime, it does create awareness among some North Koreans who manage to obtain information illegally. 5. Impossibility of escape and executions. Escape from North Korea is forbidden and extremely dangerous. Those who attempt to cross the border can be shot or subjected to severe violence if caught. Those who are apprehended are not only punished themselves, but also their family members. Public executions are another brutal method used to intimidate the population. As a result, life in North Korea is a constant struggle for survival and almost total isolation and repression. Although human rights organizations frequently highlight this situation, the regime remains completely closed to outside pressure. So, what do you think about North Korea? Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section.